Okay, so to all my Love and Deepspace girlies out there, we are in for a big, massive, huge treat. January 22nd is when Caleb is going to be getting released, and I have been feeling, if anything, nostalgic as fuck. Okay, and the reason for this is because I just feel like we've come such a long way with our current love interests, like from right from the beginning, whether you're a new player or like a seasoned player or you're just starting out. If you just want to simp for the guys, you're in the right place. If you just want to like trickle down memory lane and just remember stuff with me, then this is probably a good time to do that and strap in. I'm gonna be just my nickname for this whole thing is definitely going to be Simperella, because I'm just going to be simping hardcore for each of them, starting with my favorite guy from the game that got me into the game in the first place, which is of course Sylus. This dreamboat, this absolute divine man being. I'm not even like, the English isn't Englishing now, so I'm sorry if I'm like not making sense with my words, and I probably will stumble and fumble and probably say a lot of dumb stuff along the way. But if you're down for that, then thanks for sticking around. If not, moment of silence for you then, huh? But no, but for real, when I saw Sylus for the first time, I was thinking this man is the love child of Sebastian Michaelis and Satoru Gojo, like literally. And how can I not fall head over heels for this man? Like, are you kidding me? So basically what I'm just going to do is I'm going to talk about in this video just about his 5-star memories, my experience with how did the order in which I played them, and my experience and my thoughts of what I thought about it. Okay, I literally made like a notebook so that I can take down notes so that I don't just fumble and say anything, because sometimes your girl be so lost in the sauce that she be forgetting things, so I will be using the credits of the lovely creators who make Love and Deepspace content. I'll be linking their channels down below so that you guys can check them out, because I don't have a lot of the memories for like most of the guys. For Sylus, I'm missing his No Defense Zone card, so that is like the first one that I watched, like his No Defense Zone card. That was the first one that I watched. And also, just quick disclaimer, I'm not going to be talking about any of the myths nor the not the bonds. Yeah, I'm not going to be talking about the bonds or the myth like in detail. I might reference it here and there, so there might be tiny spoilers if you haven't seen that, but it's not going to be anything major. So let's without the rambling, just get into No Defense Zone. Or like, first of all, that I had seen a snippet. Like, I think I had seen Lexi, like a really cool, she's super fun streamer of Love and Deepspace, like share a snippet of the No Defense Zone where he's wearing the hunting game costume and he's like tied up. Bruh, I was like, what is the context of this? What is happening? I needed to know, right? So as we go through the story, Sylus sends us coordinates to meet us up at a location, right? And the MC, we ride there. I don't know why did I do it like that, like as if we like flew or something. I don't know. We didn't fly. We went there on our motorcycle in supreme badassery style. And I'm assuming that our MC went on like a Harley or something with like Katy Perry's Harleys in Hawaii playing in the background as we like zoom past. Anyways, so we get there badass style, and we get pleasantly surprised to the location that we get sent to is actually a horse track. Okay, and then he asks us what on like, I don't know if I'm not recalling whether we ask this or he asks this, like what on earth are you riding or something like that. And then I think we ask that, and then like I'm gonna have like snippets of maybe some bits of the story here and there, or if not, like don't mind my rambling. I'm just trying to like gather my thoughts and stuff. So he said that, so Sylus basically told us about how he won like a horse, like a pure black Akal Teki horse, as he pronounces it. That man can pronounce the word potato, and I'm simping over that shit all day, every day. Sylus girlies, where you at? No, but seriously. So then there are these moments where like Sylus, I think somewhere in the middle of the conversation, he goes like, ride it.
Ride it.
Sylus, say less, okay? Say less. Just name your time and place. So anyway, so we like get into this kind of bet with him, because apparently the the horse can't be tamed, like the horse has a temper. So Sylus like challenges us, or we challenge him, saying that no, we challenge him, like we're like, no, oh my god, we're like super sassy and we're gonna be able to like tame the horse, it's no big deal. So he basically tells us like, girl, please, if you can ride this horse for 100 meters, I'll bow down to you all the way in the future with my horse and all.
You can ride it for 100 meters. I'll bow to you in the future with my horse and all.
And so our character is as sassy as ever, and she mentions, oh, you know what, Sylus? Conventional horse taming methods don't actually work, so I have a method to make it work. Girl, who are you kidding? Like, are you serious? You're really about to challenge this man who's tamed a horse, and that too, it's his horse? But MC is like, nah. I gotta admire her determination. And I think Sylus and the other love interests have mentioned this a few times, where this chick, she's determined as hell. Like, she will go to any extent to get what she wants. And I think probably that's why they're so attracted to her. Like, that's part of our attractiveness. Like, okay, MC. Anyways, so yeah, so she says that she has a different approach. Like, we have a different approach. And then Sylus is like, you're all talk, no action. And so we actually end up mounting the horse, and we were actually close to finishing the 100 meters. But Sylus, being the Sylus that he is, he pulls a Sylus, and he just, blows a whistle, and the horse obviously is listening to him, is tamed by him. So the horse just goes back in the opposite direction towards Sylus. So we kind of lose the bet. So it fast forwards to us kind of going back to Sylus's house, and then we end up drinking some wine, and then we get some kind of tipsy, some kind of way. And then the next moment we know we're drinking the wine, we get tipsy, and then we suddenly find ourselves in a dilapidated pitch black room, as they describe it, with only a ray of sunlight peeking through. And we see like some weird like bear trap and chain, and some weird like, I don't know, like some really grotesque kind of room floor, which has me wondering, girl, you better be wearing shoes in there, otherwise you're gonna get an infection. So anyways, just a moments later, before MC is able to like recognize like where the heck her surroundings and stuff are, I noticed that, or rather she notices, MC notices that Sylus is sitting on the chair tied up in his hunting game outfit.
Such arrogance. I'm looking forward to it.
A moment of silence for Sylus in his hunting game outfit, because anyways, so he starts to casually just drop the line, aren't you the one who boldly claimed to tame the leader of honor kindness, or the boss of honor kindness? Bruh, literally what happens is, you know what happens. Like, I'm just gonna play a little snippet of the what happens, and I'm just gonna roll it.
An angry hunter, or a kitten holding a grudge? Is that all the patience you have? Overstepping, huh? So, you like when I look at you this way?
So yeah, after all that fun stuff happens, they end up having like some playful teasing and banter in the dream. And spoilers, it ends up being a dream. So a vivid dream where Sylus is like, oh, did you sleep well and everything? You must have been. You were laughing in your dream, girl. Okay. Probably he was just like amused at watching our MC sleep and laugh and dream and stuff. So she was like, yeah, I had a dream about a certain horse who didn't want to be tamed. I wonder who he might be. Girl, we know, okay? We been know, okay? So anyway, so I don't know, the scene ends with them having some more playful banter, and then MC is like, Sylus, just take me home already, like I want to go back home, there's some like thunderstorm happening. And so our MC's bike is out of gas, and then she's like, take me on your bike, and he's like, oh, but my bike is also out of gas, that's why we use the horse. So then she's like, oh my god, you have a horse, Sylus, a horse, so can you not take me back my horse? Hello, take me back my horse. So she's literally commanding him now at this point, right? So he just laughs, and you know how this man sounds when he laughs or giggles or does anything or just exists, you know. So literally he just ends with saying, as you command, my queen, which means, this is so interesting to me because when I first saw this, I was like, this guy who has the most dominating persona and the most dominating personality just submits. Like, he submits to MC. Okay, just easily submits to her request. So this is the first time I think we got to see, in my opinion, I was like, wow, this scary, evil looking dude from, I mean, he's not evil. He gives off that evil aura kind of vibe, is like in such a playful mood with MC, like with the whole horse riding thing. So that was very wholesome. So I was like, okay, dang, hopefully we get to see more of that. So the next memory that I saw was Within Reach. So in Within Reach, the first thing we notice is that Sylus is bleeding very heavily, and the most obscure thing about this situation is that his wounds are not healing as fast as they normally should, right? Because his ability allows him to be able to heal fairly quickly, but it's not happening. So our MC's first thought is, or rather, I don't know if MC thought about this or if I'm just thinking this is probably my own thoughts when I played the card, like, why is he not healing? You know, why is he still bleeding and why is it so severe? Because if just a tiny like throwback to his bond in Midnight Stealth, he can heal. Like, he makes us shoot him, but he can clearly heal. So that's not an issue for him at that point of time, but for some reason here it is. So that was my first question, like, why is that happening? I don't know if I missed something. I probably must have missed a reason as to why he's not able to heal. If someone knows, you can appreciate your comment on why and how did he heal and why did he not heal sooner at that time. Anyway, so essentially all that to say, that was just another dream, by the way. So in my mind at that point of time, I was like, oh my god, why is this happening? It's another vivid dream. So we find ourselves trying to tell Sylus that we have to attend some sort of birthday banquet, and we basically want him to be our +1, but MC is trying to be all tsundere and is like being shy and doesn't want to tell him or invite him directly. But he's not dumb, okay? He catches on. And we end up meeting him in a high-end boutique, of course, with some romantic-ass jazz music playing in the background. The whole boutique gets evacuated. I say evacuated like as if some commotion is happening, but honestly, if the leader of Honor Kindness is stepping in, people better clear their shit. You know what I'm saying? So Luke and Kieran go like, oh my gosh, like, we have the whole boutique, like, it's just for you guys. It's all clear. You won't get interrupted. Sirs, what do you mean we won't get interrupted? Like, we're here to try on clothes, right? Right? So with that out of the way, this is like the first time we are getting to do more, like, I don't know, like relationshipy or coupley things with Sylus, and now we're shopping with him. So that's wholesome as fuck, if you ask me. Like, it's the whole setting is oozing this VIP treatment and like I'm spoiling you kind of atmosphere. So he talks about how Sylus is like, okay, so you're inviting me for this, banquet, and like I have nothing else better to do, so I'm gonna go with you. So I need a custom made tailor suit and I gotta look suave or whatever and just stunt on everyone and make everyone jealous of me. And I mean, not really, but like he just wants to show up with her, like he wants to bring his oomph to the table, and he is not shy of making that known. So he obviously has to have his measurements taken, but there is no fashion designer inside. So what does he do? He asks us to take his measurements. And girl, I am telling you, that scene, those scenes where we were taking his measurements, I can't be arsed like that. Perfection. It was just so, it just hits you in the feels, you get to see him with all his abs. I'm gonna probably put a picture of him somewhere here or here. Like, just take a moment of silence to just admire this man's chiseled ass body.
You've been staring for a while. Where will you start? And if we keep idling, the steak will get cold, sweetie.
Trying to focus. What was I saying? Yeah, so we're gonna be attending the banquet together, so we take our measurements and everything. And I struggled the first time. Like, I was like, oh my god, I don't even know how do I take these measurements. I got the prompt a few times where it was like, he wasn't happy and he was like, oh, do you want to be going to dinner with a man wearing these pants? Oh, my shirt is too tight. Like, okay, Mr. Sassy Pants, that's why you have a designer. Why are you asking me to do this? Hello? But eventually, after a few attempts, I was able to get his measurements. And once all the measurements were precise and swift, we remember the dream that we had where his arm was injured, and then our character, our MC, like, tries to reach out and grab his arm, which as CU MC is so real for that. Like, I would have grabbed something else, but oh, what is that? Like, you want to measure my arm too? And then she's like, no, I don't want to measure anything else, I'm good. Girl, we see you, we know what you're thinking, okay? She just wasn't bold enough to do it. If you know what I'm thinking, great. If you don't, well, it's fine. Probably too young anyways. I said anyways too many times. So he pulls our arm and he's like, we should have matching outfits or something along those lines. And he's like, you need to take your measurements also. Yo, can you imagine, what if he was going to take our measurements? Sometimes I want to give MC a slap. Like, girl, he wanted to take your measurements. Just let him take your measurements. You know, like, what is the big deal? I don't see a problem. Just let this man take your measurements, okay? Knows that something is up, so he's like, what happened? Like, why are you looking at my arm? And then we just try to like play it off and tell him, oh no, it's nothing. He's like, are we looking for injuries? So he's on to us, okay? So we just then casually admit that he's a troublemaker, because we end up having dreams about, him being injured and all that stuff. I feel it's kind of like heart-wrenching, a heart-triggering moment, because he feels kind of upset, I guess, because they have been through a lot of incidents where it's like high stakes, like they're always either going in missions or always on these near-death experiences. So it's just been troublesome. They haven't really had a moment's peace, I think, up until this point, from my perspective of how I have been watching it and reading the stories, like 5-star memory so far. So he wants us to have more happy moments with him, and he's like, would you be happier if we had more peaceful or happy moments with him and stuff? And then she's like, yeah, maybe, and stuff. And we can start in this way, and it's very romantic and very like wholesome. So that was super cute. So I really enjoyed that quite a lot, I will say. Okay, moving on. The third memory that I watched or read or got of Sylus was the Lost Oasis, and my goodness, my Yapparella session of this memory might be a little bit longer. I'm sorry if the other ones felt too long, but there is just so much to unpack in this one particular memory. There are so many like hidden clues, Easter eggs, if you will, or like important pieces of information that will help us understand more about where he's coming from, why does he behave the way that he does, and we actually get to see a more vulnerable side, of him, which is so important, because despite this was like the Misty Invasion banner card, and while it did have its fair share of like spicy, if anything, this card was more wholesome and heart-wrenching than spicy, if you know what I mean. The girlies that get it. So essentially we take a long flight to meet up with Sylus, and Sylus appears in classic fashion on a vintage motorcycle, wanting to like show off. He says it's a classic model that's only a few years older than our MC, which, by the way, I believe our MC is around 23 or 24. You can clock me if I'm wrong on this, but I think her age is 23 or 24, because with the release of Caleb, like, it said that like Caleb's age is 25, and apparently we're like younger than Caleb, because in the trailer Caleb is like he's older than us. So I just assume our MC is 23, 24. Anyways, so before we actually get onto the motorcycle, we ask Sylus, okay, what are we gonna be getting ourselves into, boo? Because I know we're about to get on some mad shit, so you gotta tell me what we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? So then this is pretty exciting because it's like it's our first solo trip. I was a bit upset that we didn't get to travel together. Like knowing Sylus, he probably sent us the plane ticket and all of that, which, little spoiler, yeah, he does send us the plane ticket. So we end up, cruising through like a red desert, as they describe it, where there are these wild sea buckthorns and tamarisks which replace the remnants of man-made structures. So this is like, I don't know if it's Del Sol Valley or like, the desert city of like The Sims. I don't know, it just made me think of that. But anyways, so Sylus ends up teasing us. He doesn't give us a straightforward answer. He just ends up saying stuff like, we're going to be sneaking into a gang's territory and assassinate their leader. Now, I don't know why this man thinks this is funny, because even though like our character knows that he's bluffing, he is very much capable of doing that, and very much capable of like, making us join in with him to do that. So I don't know why does he think that's funny, but okay, go off. I mean, it was funny. I did laugh the first time I read it, but yeah. So by the time we reach our destination, we encounter an old lady and a teenage boy, and then our MC is like, are these your enemies? Are these your friends? Obviously, they're like, we learn that they're friends, they're harmless, and we have to basically assist this teenager in helping him to fight a wanderer. Like, there is a wanderer which he captured, and we have to teach him how to fight. And Sylus is like, I'm more of a killing machine, I'm not a teaching machine, so this is why I got you along, boo, so you're gonna have to do your thing, which, okay, go off, like, we can teach. So he recognizes our teaching skills, and we're like, okay, but you have to like play along. So we make him like play the part of a wanderer to like demonstrate, because there's a language barrier. MC doesn't speak the language of the locals doesn't speak the language that we speak, which I'm assuming, because I'm playing in English, I'm gonna say it's English. So yeah, we don't speak the same language. And Sylus is like, communication doesn't necessarily mean you have to speak the same language. And it's like, yeah, boo, it's true. As long as the action is conveyed, it's gonna make sense, right? Right. Our character, again, before we actually do it, she has to get sassy again, and she only acts this sassy, I think, with Sylus. She goes like, oh, so what's in it for me then? What's my reward? And Sylus is like, oh, I what about the plane ticket and the hotel reservation? Doesn't that cover it? And so then we just agree, we shut up at this point. I'm like, MC, shut your ass up and just do what this man is telling you. If this man told me to get on my knees and just remain in a frozen statue position, I would do that, no questions asked. So sometimes I want to slap the shit out of MC, but anyway. So Sylus says that he wants to teach the teenager how to fight the wanderer. So that's like, as I said, he admits that he doesn't know how to teach and stuff, so he plays along. And after all of that happens, their fun banter, the teaching and everything ends. By the way, the grandma or the old lady, I feel like she ships MC and Sylus, because she ends up pushing us together at the same time into a bathroom to like wash up, because we're all like dirty from the demonstration and the sand and everything. So we end up taking a shower first, and then I think we use up all the water, and then Sylus uses up he only has a little bit of water to use up. So we act like a makeshift shower head for Sylus. Honestly, we could act like anything for him. Am I right? Sylus girls, anything. But yeah, no. During that whole thing, Sylus ends up revealing like a really important piece of information, because our MC is curious. How does Sylus know who this old lady is? What is her significance? What is her importance, right? So Sylus is like, she is the one who brought me to the oasis when I was in the desert. And he ends up continuing on to say that if it wasn't her, he would have been digested carrion in a vulture's stomach, which quite literally translates to him being dead meat if it wasn't for her. So clearly this old woman is of some higher importance. She's probably very powerful, but for some reason Sylus doesn't really dive too deep into it, and that only adds to the air of confusion and mystery, because like, why is he not revealing more about it? Maybe it's either he doesn't want to talk about it in that moment, or he's just not sure how to say it, because let's be real, Sylus at this point of time still struggles with expressing his emotions, and I feel like that only serves to improve. Like the more, even though I didn't experience the memories maybe in the intended order it was supposed to, I still felt like there was a good progression of the relationship between him and MC. So he obviously opens up gradually, right? Like even throughout this card, like he does open up gradually. Sylus just says, she didn't do anything. Like the old lady, all she did was she just found him and he ended up following her for a while. So this was pretty interesting because then later on our MC is, I don't know, after that whole spiel happens and after the little intense bathroom washing scene happens, you know what I'm talking about. I might share some screenshots of that of my character and Sylus here, mostly of Sylus, because let's be real, we're all here for him, right? We're Simperella for him, not for MC, though sometimes MC be pretty badass too. Anyways, so yeah, we're talking about how
Don't tell me that's what you think I won't be able to endure. That's a lot of strength. You're putting in a lot of effort.
Sylus reveals to RMC that he made a deal with the boy, with the teenager. I think his father was killed by the wanderers, by that wanderer, the one which we're helping the teenage boy to fight. And then so RMC is even more curious now, like why would you be helping a teenage boy? Yeah, why would you be helping a teenage boy with his problems? Like why? So essentially he says that there is a place known as the Valley of Lost Souls, and local myths say that their 7 gods are buried there. He says that once he's dead, he wants to be buried with them. And then we go like, is that like a highest honor? And he goes like, highest honor? Those gods were killed by their own ancestors. This is insane, because at that point of time when I read it for the first time back in August, I was thinking this might be hinting to his myth coming up later on. I didn't think too deeply about it. Like I'm not as smart as the lower girlies that go hard with the explanations. I wasn't thinking too deeply. I just knew that this might be hinting towards something, like he is some sort of monstrous creature, or he was some sort of monstrous creature in the past, and his ancestors might have been monstrous creatures themselves. So this is, hinting at that point exactly. So anyway, this transcends into them having a super cute and cozy, wholesome, atmospheric conversation together in the evening, by the bonfire is burning through the plaza, and we're literally covered by a floral fleece blanket, okay? And we are resting together on a hammock. Now, if that doesn't scream Pookie worthy, I don't know what does. So continuing on, like Sylus tells us that one of the humans had uncovered the truth, like continuing the explanation, and invited the gods into the valley, and then he cuts off their head. And the exiled, and us being the exiled ones, us as in the humans, abandoning the gods themselves is a possibility, is what Sylus ends up saying. So this just makes MC even more curious and more intrigued about Sylus's, upbringing, because MC realizes, I've never heard about Sylus talk about his parents. Like it's as if he was born this way. Why does he say the things that he says? So essentially MC just goes for it and asks, what about what about your world? What was your life like, as a kid? And I was like waiting to understand and learn about his upbringing as well. Did Sylus grow up with parents? Did he not? I'm sure most of us were like curious about that, right? So he says that he's silent for a while, and this is so atmospheric. Like if you picture everything that you're reading, it just adds to the immersion, honestly, because it says that as MC is asking this question about his like upbringing and everything, he's crushing some fallen flowers into fragrant dust, and he answers so depressingly. Like I already started tearing up at this, where he goes like, it's nothing special, I just struggled to survive. Pookie, are you serious? Like, don't make me start. So the atmosphere only intensifies, as if to add fire to the fuel. Wait, it's fuel to the fire. As if to add even more fuel to the fire. they go like the sounds of like in there's some like festival going on right in the plaza which we can hear, so the sounds of the handbells and chanting fades, leaving only the silent starlight in the sky, cold night breeze enveloping them. So it's like all sounds are like devoid, it's just the moonlight and like the starlight and this cold breeze just adding to the intensity of the atmosphere, which is crazy. And so Sylus is like, do you think we're talking about the same world and everything? I wonder if this was him, him asking us, do you think we're talking about the same world? It almost makes me wonder if he's trying to like jog MC's memory to see if she remembers something about their past together. That is crazy. If that was his intention, I don't know. Because this man is not one for small talk, right? If anything, he would have asked this question really wanting to figure out why. Chat a bit more, and MC asks about what was he like before he became the N109 zone. Sylus, again, she just really is curious about how he got to the position of power that he is. How did he amass all of his wealth? How did it all start? Clearly MC is intrigued and she wants to know more about how did he get to where he is, right? But an MC wonders if Sylus was a normal person, how many scars would he actually have? Because he heals fast, so he doesn't really have any visible scars to be shown or revealed. And then Sylus says he doesn't take any pleasure in, revealing his scars. And MC just drops this: by knowing someone's past, you can understand their present self. And then that just evades to the even more depressing line where Sylus goes like, maybe not everyone needs to be understood, fam. I like broke down crying when he said that. Like, I wanted to just go through this, jump into the screen and give him like the biggest bear hug ever, because are you serious? Like, you want the sadness. This is not love and deep space anymore. This is love and depression, as the community calls it, like for real. So then the conversation ends with MC saying that she wants to go back to Lincoln and she'll be going back tomorrow or day after, and she wants Sylus to drop her off. And then MC is like, oh, Sylus, are you gonna come back with me, or what are you gonna do? And then Sylus is like, I'm gonna venture deeper into the desert, because he doesn't explain. Like, he just says that he's gonna venture deep into the desert and he doesn't explain. And I like that MC, the one thing I like about our character is that she doesn't really ask, she doesn't press or force someone to answer her questions. Like, if the love interest is not comfortable in answering, and vice versa, I feel like. So then, oh my goodness, so there's like a moment of silence, I think, and the most beautiful line after they have this like really heartfelt heart-to-heart conversation, I really, really love, I absolutely adore when the sentence, when it ends, when the scene ends with it saying, the strong smell of spices and the sweet fragrance of palm trees blend. The world falls asleep, marking a rare moment of peace between us. Bruh, like, that is so sweet. And on top of that, we end up feeling drowsy after having this heart-to-heart conversation. We drift off into sleep, and before we do that, our MC ends up wrapping the fleece blanket tighter around her and around Sylus, and she ends up scooching closer to Sylus, drawn by his warmth, as you should, okay? And she says something really depressing also while she does this. She says, perhaps I'll never be able to see the world through his eyes or touch the wounds that are unknown to anyone. Girl, little do you know, this man is so down bad for you. And then she just ends by saying, but at least we shared a night together in that distant oasis with the same moonlight that cascaded over us. Lost Oasis, one of the most beautiful, well-written cards out there, and is definitely like in my top 3 favorites. Like, I love all his cards, but this Lost Oasis card just really, really hit really hard in the feels, every time.